Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we are coming to you from the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island because we are attending the policy conference that's put on annually by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. And so we're going to be talking now with the president and the CEO, an old friend, Jeff Donofrio. And Jeff, you are the Business Leaders for Michigan. And I got to tell you, our history here at the network with that organization is back to day one.
We appreciate that.
Well, you guys have done a marvelous job of doing things. What's the latest? Because you guys are studying continually and looking at things.
That's right. I mean, when you look at where top 10 states are, and our organization, of course, is made up of CEOs across the state, the largest employers who are trying to make this state a better place. And when you look at what we benchmark across the country, the states that are winning are those with a real focus on talent and a strength in talent and a real focus on economic growth.
It's interesting because a lot of the breakout meetings around here are around, and a lot of our interviews around what's happening in the education system,
right.
what's happening preschool, post school,
Yeah.
what's happening in possible career recognition for kids who otherwise don't even think about it,
Yeah.
And we've got that percentage of population. You and I grew up, we were talking about what we were going to do around the dinner table.
That's right.
There are homes without dinner tables,
Yeah.
period. And so that's the big challenge because we're going to pay for those folks one way or another.
That's right. We have to, first you have to look at who do we have here in our state and how can we make them, be able to have more opportunities, be able to fulfill their best possible career outcomes.
Yeah.
I ran workforce development in the city of Detroit, and one of the things we knew is that poverty is a form of trauma, and that trauma, represents itself in maybe not having a home that is stable, maybe not having always a meal that is there and nutritious, maybe not having the type of supports you and I did when we grew up.
Right.
And that you have to make sure there's equity in the funding and the resources that you put into education, whether that's for adults, whether that's for kids. We renovated 3 career technical education schools to try to get people into skilled trades, construction especially, which was so important for Detroit as all of this construction boom has happened in the city. And one of the things we had to do was to say, what are the ways that we're going to make up for how someone comes into the school? We have to meet them where they are. So we translated that in Business Leaders to Michigan as a priority in our K-12 work to say we have to have equity funding in education, so that districts in high poverty, districts with special needs students, they're getting more resources than maybe an average district because you've got to make up for that gap. And we want every student to succeed.
Well, and that hasn't always been the philosophy because they have been the ones on the short end of the
That's
stick
right.
in many cases.
Yeah.
But they are the ones who we, as I said, will be paying for
Right.
either through salaries if they work and not if they don't, because they're going to be on social rolls.
Well, and our employers need them, right?
Yeah.
They need them to be able to grow.
Yeah.
And when you look at what employers are making decisions on right now, where to locate that next line of business, where to expand an office, it's where the talent is. Talent is dictating that from whether it's the K-12 system, whether it's the community college system, the higher education system, and then whether you can attract people into the region.
So, Jeff, let's go a little deeper into
Yeah.
that talent pool because we are a declining population,
That's right. Mhm.
And if we had 100% participation, would we still have enough people to fill the jobs? And I don't think so. So what do we do at that point?
Well, our labor force participation has been declining over time. And so we were one of the highest performing states from a labor force participation standpoint in the year 2000. We're, probably below average now. And if we were able to increase that, if we were able to get more women back in the workforce who maybe have childcare needs because COVID still has disrupted that system, and parents generally, there's fathers who have that same issue. We would be able to close a lot of the talent gaps that are out there right now. And I think the most important piece is we'd be able to poise the state for growth. So how do we help more of our individuals get into the workforce? How do we make sure they have the skills and the resources needed to move along a career pathway?
Yeah.
And then how do we create communities and really attract more people to Michigan? One of the other things we're really focused on, and we have 3 research universities here in Michigan that are on our board,
Yeah.
Michigan, Michigan State, Wayne State. How do you retain more of those graduates? Because there are a lot of foreign national students who are coming into our state,
Right.
being educated there and going elsewhere. There are a lot of folks who are coming in from out of state.
Well, and we encourage them to go home.
We do,
That's the hard part,
unfortunately.
you
Yeah,
know.
we should be stapling a visa and saying, "Stay here, help us grow."
Super glue on their
Yeah,
classroom seat.
that's right.
So where do you stand on immigration reform? Because I see that as probably the biggest possible fix.
Right. We are growing as a state because of immigration, and I think all of our families, we can trace back our history to, my family came over from Italy, and they
Yep.
were looking for a better life. So we have to keep those doors open because they're the small business owners, they're the individuals who are going to help our companies grow and help our communities grow. When we talk to our members, the Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 company CEOs, they are all frustrated that we can't find solutions at the national level to immigration. And unfortunately, it's states like Michigan that suffer because we can't get on the same page, Republicans and Democrats and business and labor and anybody else.
Well, and we've got a few more months of suffering because in an election year, not a lot gets done, as you know.
It's going to be
But
very
we got to
political.
go in as a unified force and get this thing
That's right.
taken care of. The CEO, Executive Director, Grant Pupa of the Business Leaders for Michigan,
That's right.
Jeff Donofrio. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And for the good work you do.
Well, we work together here and we got to make Michigan a better state.
We can.
Thanks, Chris.
We can. All right. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman, and we're coming to you from the Grand Hotel because that's where we're attending the annual policy conference put on by the Greater Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back.